The Eden Alternative, an alternative to institutional approach to long-term care, was founded by Dr. Bill Thomas after a resident in a nursing home, where he was working as a young doctor, held his arm and said, "Doctor, I'm so lonely." It immediately dawned on him that there's actually no pill, no prescription that a doctor can write to make loneliness go away. He watched and listened to life in the nursing home, and over time he witnessed that the institutional model of care breeds three deadly plagues of the human spirit: boredom, loneliness, and helplessness. So he began to envision a caring environment where people could live and thrive. The Eden Alternative has been going strong for more than 20 years now. It has over 40,000 certified Eden associates and several certified Eden homes worldwide. Maria, when did Sunnyside's Eden journey began? Can you explain a little bit how that happened?
Yes, I was the clinical nurse educator for long-term care in another health authority before moving to Sunnyside as a director of care. I received the Eden Associate training at that time, and I was convinced that that's the direction for long-term care homes. So when Sunnyside was chosen as one of the modeling homes in 2014 by the Saskatoon Health Region, Sherbrooke was one of its strong supporters. Suellen Beatty attended our meetings and connected the initiatives in the modeling home into Eden. I used this as a springboard to discuss Eden with our administrator, Randy Kurtz. From there, our Eden journey started. With the approval of the Sunnyside Board of Directors, we started embracing Eden Alternative in 2016, and now we are on the third phase of implementation of Eden Alternative.
The Eden Alternative is a philosophy of care that is guided by 10 principles. We will be talking about the principles as it relates to one another and not necessarily in sequence. But maybe let's start with principle 1?
Sure. As mentioned previously, there is a problem in the institutional ways of caring. Residents are bored, lonely, and helpless. And these are painful and destructive to the health and well-being of residents in long-term care.
However, there are 3 antidotes for loneliness, helplessness, and boredom, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about principles 3, 4, and 5.
Exactly. Principle 3, easy access to companionship, is the antidote to loneliness. So what it says is that companionship can be given by everyone around the resident.
Oh, so companionship from care partners, residents, families, significant others, children, and even by animals and pets, right? And how about principle 4?
In principle 4, purpose and opportunity to give as well as receive is the antidote to helplessness. This means that residents should be given the opportunity to care for each other and for their care partners as well.
Take note that a care partner refers to all residents, all the staff, families, volunteers, board of directors at Sunnyside.
And variety and spontaneity and unexpected happenings stated in Principle 5 are the antidote to boredom. This is when unexpected and unpredictable interactions and happenings take place and boredom eases. The spur of the moment type of thing is encouraged. Make the day fun and joyful and memorable. Something that happens out of the blue.
Oh, that's great. So the 3 antidotes for boredom, loneliness, and helplessness are easy access to companionship, purpose and opportunity to give as well as receive, variety and spontaneity, and unexpected things. And what about activities?
Activities is mentioned in Principle 6. Meaning is unique to each of us and is essential to health and well-being. Meaningful activities, example, recreation activities, exercises, and other things are a combination of undertakings which promotes socialization, learning and relearning of skills, something fun and exciting.
Oh, that's amazing. And principle number 7 talks about medical treatment. Is that correct?
Yes, it does. And it brings us an important question. Is our medical diagnosis the definition of who we are?
No, definitely not. We're more than that.
And as stated in Principle 7, medical treatment should support and empower us to experience a life worth living.
Oh, and principle 8 is one of my favorites, if I may say. Decision making must involve those most impacted by the decision.
Yes, and residents are the daily decision makers. Decisions related to care are shared between residents, families, and their care partners, and no longer a top-down bureaucracy or bureaucratic authority. Principle 8 is illustrated through a decision ring where the resident is at the center. Every discussion and decisions is for the benefit and welfare of the person at the center, which is the resident himself. All this will be achieved through empowerment. Empowerment activates choice, autonomy, and influence. Empowerment enables the nurses, the continuing care assistants, housekeepers, the cook, and other relevant team members to make a decision with residents and their families.
Yeah, so we've talked about principle 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. What about principle 2?
The ultimate goal is to create a caring, inclusive, and vibrant community, and it is stated in the second principle. This environment enables all of us, regardless of age or ability, to experience well-being.
And how long will this journey take?
Well, building a collaborative and resilient culture is a never-ending process. This is Principle 9. Adopting Eden Alternative into the mainstream of everyday life at Sunnyside is not going to happen overnight. It will be a journey of a lifetime.
So it means that it's not going to be ending tomorrow or anytime soon, right? It will stay as long as Sunnyside exists. And now we're left with the last principle, Principle 10.
The last principle states that wise leadership is the key to meaningful and lasting change. The administrator and the directors, referred to as Eden Core leaders, are all Eden associates. So therefore, we have a good grasp of what Eden Alternative is. As a Sunnyside family, the core leaders, the Eden associates, and the rest of the care partners and the board decided to take the Eden Alternative journey out with the old institutional way of caring and in with the new, the Eden Alternative. With the support of the Sunnyside board, we will continue to move forward. The core leaders or coaches are here to lead, guide, support, coach, and care for the teams. Together, we will make life at Sunnyside abundant and worthwhile for residents.
Yes, and one of the ways you can be part of this journey is to join a neighborhood team. Sunnyside has 3 neighborhoods, like 3 neighborhood teams, namely Riverview, Prairieland, and Diefenbaker. Each team is composed of the residents that live in that neighborhood, their families and friends, and staff members, all the care partners.
The neighborhood teams are expected to share the joys of being a team member and to carry out our goal of creating home so that Sunnyside becomes a great place for residents to live and a wonderful place for staff and care partners to work.
Thank you, Maria. I hope this presentation has given you some understanding of Eden Alternative and the 10 principles.